Good morning. Welcome to week 11. I hope you're doing well this week. I wanted to take just a minute to touch base with you and talk a little bit with you about your assignment for this week. Your discussion board assignment asks that you take one of the research articles that you already have identified and then within that research article identify the instrument or instruments that the researchers used and then evaluate that instrument for validity and reliability. And I know that this can be a little bit confusing sometimes, so I wanted to take just a few minutes and talk with you a little further about that. And so before we get to the instrument, let's talk a little bit about measurement. And your book defines measurement as a process of assigning numbers to objects, events, or situations in accord with some rule. Now, when we think about that, we think about one of the ways to make it simple and to think about it is when you think about measuring weight or measuring height. We have standard rules of measurement that we use for those things. And we use, when we talk about our height, we use that in a matter of feet and inches, and we would use a ruler or a yardstick to measure those things. When we think about weight, we use a scale that we step on to measure our weight. So those are the instruments that we use for measurement. And then your book defines instrumentation as the application of rules to develop a measurement device. So in these research studies, there are, you will identify, this could be a scale that they use, this could be a questionnaire that they used, but there was some sort of tool or instrument that the researchers may have used in their study to gather their information. And I know that in one of the PowerPoints previously, we talked about the levels of measurement, and that is the nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So depending on what kind of data you're wanting to measure will be the way that you will list these measurements. And remember that nominal is the lowest form and ratio is the highest form of measurement. And when you start thinking about the instruments and thinking about, well, what does reliability mean? What does validity mean? And what reliability means is that the tool that they have used is consistent, that it consistently gives the same information over a period of time. The validity means that the tool actually measures what it says that it's going to measure. And one of the easy ways that you could think about that is we know that for measuring temperature, we would use a thermometer. And so if someone said that they were using a clock to measure the temperature in the room, then you know that the clock is not going to give a valid measure of temperature because it doesn't, that's not what it does. So that's just a very simple, basic way to think of it. But just know that the validity means that the instrument or tool that the researcher uses actually measures what it says it's going to measure. And the reliability has to do with the consistency of the tool. So what you're going to do for your discussion board this week is identify the tool within the study and then evaluate it for the reliability and validity of that tool, and then make a post about that on your discussion board. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to give me a phone call or send me an email, and I'll be happy to talk with you about that further. Also, I hope you are coming along well with your research for your project. It's just before you know it, we will be meeting again face to face, and I look forward to hearing all of your findings and all of your projects. And remember, this project is not the actual research project. You are just developing this project to the point that you would be able to start an actual research project. And as we think about these instruments and tools that are used to collect data, if you are thinking about collecting data in some form or fashion, you know, if you're wanting to ask questions or measure something, think about, there may be tools out there that you could already use, that are already available that you could use in your study. So that you may want to do a little bit of research on those things, and then you could even mention that in your project paper or in your presentation, that you have found that you would like to use such and such a questionnaire or such and such of a tool when conducting your research. So I hope you find this information helpful, and again, if you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact me and let me know. I hope you have a good week, and I look forward to seeing you in person in a few weeks.